Ladies and gentlemen, this is Karen Fabian.
Hello. Thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited to be
pleasure.
here.
Oh, this is great. Now, Karen is with the Bare Bones Yoga.
Yes.
All right.
That's my company.
That's your company. Okay. Where did you get the name Bare Bones Yoga?
So Bare Bones Yoga was inspired by, at the beginning of the recession, I had a couple of people come to me and they said they couldn't afford to go to yoga anymore. And so I talked to a friend of mine who was in real estate, and I said, you know, I want to find a space that is unique, a place where I could just use to teach yoga. And he found me kind of a unique space in a renovated gas station in the Fenway. And it was being used part-time as an art gallery. And in the off hours, I went in and taught yoga classes. And they were $10, and people brought their mats and their towels and their water. And when we were there, we did yoga. And when we weren't there, you'd never know that we had been there. And that went on for about 6 or 7 months. And the art gallery side of things kind of picked up. So I kept the name Bare Bones Yoga and really kind of morphed the concept from less about the space being bare bones and into more of the concept of keeping yoga simple, really going to creative places and providing yoga in a way where just the essentials that people need to get stronger, to get more flexible, to relax, where just those things are provided. So I kind of shifted gears a little bit and looked for as many kind of unique places that I could present yoga. So now, along with teaching at Charlestown Yoga in my neighborhood and at One Mind Body Earth in the Back Bay, I provide yoga to a couple different nonprofits. I teach at the Boys and Girls Club in Charlestown, which I love, 7 and 8-year-olds. I teach some classes for the Big Brothers Big Sisters Association in Boston. I teach at the Good Shepherd School in Charlestown, which I love, 3 and 4-year-olds. And then I also provide yoga in my home to women as part of this program I started called Women's Wellness Groups.
I want to talk about that in a minute. But tell me about your company. What is the mission? What is your mission with this?
So Bare Bones Yoga, the motto is keeping yoga simple. And really what that means and what my passion is bringing yoga to people, especially people who've kind of excluded themselves from thinking they can ever do yoga. You know, a lot of times as I walk around Charlestown, people know that I teach yoga, and they might approach me and they might say, you know, aren't you a yoga teacher? And I'll say, yes. And then they'll say, you know, I tried yoga once and I couldn't do it, or I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible enough. And so we get into these conversations about how can yoga be presented in a way that people can feel like they can do it. And so really the spirit of my company is to provide yoga to people and to do it in a way where the essentials are provided so that they can get stronger, they can start to get a handle on it, they can increase their flexibility, get a little relaxation in. So that's really the heart of it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back into this.
Okay.
What is it? Women's
Wellness Groups.
So what is this all about?
So just like the concept of Bare Bones Yoga was inspired by my conversations with someone, so is Women's Wellness Groups. I had some women come to me and they said, you know, I'm a little apprehensive about going into a studio. I don't know the poses. I'm going to feel self-conscious. Maybe I'm dealing with a weight issue, or you know, maybe I'm just really nervous to be in a yoga studio because I feel like everybody's going to know what they're doing except me. So I wanted to figure out a way that I could give women the support they need to try this. And I thought, well, if I do it in my house, I can only fit a couple people, 4 people, so it'd be a small group. And then if I do it in my house, I can also add some other components that are part of wellness in general. So on September 30th of last year, I started my first women's wellness group, which was 4 people, and they came for 4 Wednesday nights in a row. And what I provide is a little bit over an hour of yoga, and then we sit and we do some meditation. And it's basically just we sit and in a comfortable position, I kind of walk them through kind of a guided process, maybe 5-10 minutes maybe. And then I have a topic or two about wellness, maybe a book or an article. Maybe I just have some questions about what are women in the group doing to de-stress, or a good nutritious meal they made. And I just kind of throw it out to the group and they take it from there.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Let me say, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the program, that this is a live call-in show, and we'd welcome you to call in.
Sure.
The number is 617-708-3290. So give us a call. We'd love to hear from you.
Sure, absolutely.
I know Karen would be delighted to answer any of your questions.
Absolutely, would love it, would love it.
Okay, Karen, your experience as a teacher. Does everyone, regardless of age or their strength or their flexibility, can they do yoga?
Sure. I mean, I think like anything else, yoga is learned, and it is something that can be, I think the great thing about yoga is it can be changed up to really meet where the person's at. Over my almost 10 years of teaching people of all different ages and lots of different experience levels, I've worked with teachers who have trained me, and I have learned how to kind of switch things up so that it's consumable by whomever I'm working with. So there's a lot of different ways you can change what you're doing. You can kind of alter it a little bit. If someone is working with an injury, you can modify different postures so that you kind of take away what might aggravate them and you keep kind of the heart of the matter, what would help them get stronger. It can be done with folks that are older or, you know, coming back from an injury. So absolutely, it's really a matter of finding a style that works for you and finding it in a way that it's presented so that you can start to feel like, you know, you're getting it. And some of that's just finding a teacher that you work well with, a place that works for you, that kind of thing.
So I understand that yoga, you use a mat on the floor.
Yes.
But what if you do have a back injury, or if you're older? Can you do it from a standing or a sitting position?
Sure, sure. There are lots of programs, yoga programs for the elderly, where you're sitting in a chair. You know, the essence of yoga is about more than just the physical postures. It's often a lot about just taking some deep breaths and giving yourself a couple of moments or longer to really just kind of remove a lot of the distractions. So even for folks that maybe can only sit or sit on the floor, there's a lot you can do with the upper body, and there's a lot you can do around breathing and just that idea of mindfulness, which I kind of hesitate to use something that might sound a little kind of out there, but just taking some time to disconnect from the phone, disconnect from the computer, be with other people who are making a commitment in that experience to taking care of themselves. That can be very powerful, and that's where the Women's Wellness Group has really kind of taken off. At this point, I've had about 40 women come through in the past several months, and they're really latching on to the idea of making that appointment to take care of themselves, showing up, and being supported by other women who have done the same thing, who are doing the same thing.
So they take this home with them and they carry on with it. You mentioned that the Women's Wellness Group, you had them for 4 weeks, but this is something that you hope that they will continue on their own.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've had great success in the program with women who have coming back and bringing a friend. I've had, I email out on Mondays, here's what's going on with women's wellness groups this week, and oftentimes I'll get an email from someone who got that email, it was forwarded to them. And so that's been so rewarding, is to see kind of people that are coming and they're saying, oh, you got to go to this. And it is a lot of women in Charlestown, but it's also women from other parts who just kind of heard about it from someone in Charlestown. So yeah, I mean, if it's the kind of thing where it gives women the support they need to go into a studio and take a class, great. But for a lot of the women that are coming, this is the yoga they're getting, and they want to just kind of stick with this. So yeah, so it's been great.